welcome back to another week of my life with the grad school diaries. I have not as busy of a week because I don't have class tonight. Our professor gave us a fall break, even though I don't think we technically get one, but I am not complaining. We also have our action plan for our group project. You might have heard me mention that. That's due Tuesday night. We met yesterday and kind of put the things together, and we're just tying up loose ends. So I'm not worried about it. I need to finish my parts. I'm like missing a couple of handouts I need to put in the appendix of our action plan and just tie it up. And then I will also need to finish doing notes for my social and cultural issues class and watch the videos I need to watch and make my discussion post, which will be nice. I've already been to the grocery store today. I'm excited to cook this week. I'm feeling like warm flavors. Yeah, let's get started. I remembered that I bought a microphone so I could talk from far away and so I could do voiceovers. So here we are. I'm still working on my lecture notes. I managed to finish my part for the action plan, and now I'm working on lecture notes. I like to finish those. I like to copy them. That's probably not the best way, but it ensures that I read them, and I find like typing for a little bit is nice. And it's like easier work to do. And then, but man, these PowerPoints are not made by the professor. Some of them are, or they feel like they are, and she has a voiceover with them. But some of them are like straight from the book, and they are wordy. So wordy. So I still need to finish the PowerPoints and then watch some videos, and then make my discussion post. But I might take a quick break and eat lunch because I'm feeling hungry. All right. Good morning again. I will probably have already told you by this point in the video, but I went to plug my phone at my phone. I went to plug my computer in this morning, and I realized I didn't plug the charger into the wall. So I spent the morning journaling, which was really nice, and doing some extra reading, which was really nice. And then I was able to get to my computer and start on schoolwork. I posted my discussion post a day late, but I think it's better done and late than not done. I also had like big, I don't want to think critically today energy. Really last night when I was trying to start the discussion post, But that was also because it was like 11 p.m. and I was tired and I had already procrastinated on doing it. Probably because I'd also left a lot of the rest of the extra work to watch. I left the extra work till yesterday when this discussion post was due. So it's like I needed a little more time to metabolize what I'd read, what I'd learned, and to think critically. And then so today I did get it done. And one of the questions was about how are you going to address, as a counselor, counseling the religious minorities or people who have no religion, and how do you address these stereotypes or lack of information about them? And in the moment, I was like, I kind of felt like resistance, not to like not have people who are not the same religion as me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I want people to come through my door and get the help they need. And I want to be of use to them in whatever journey they're on, whatever faith they ascribe to, whether it is mine or another, or if they have no faith in particular. But I thought the question was asking me, like, how are you going to go immerse yourself into the cultures? Like, are you going to go attend the Buddhist temple or a Hindu temple, or are you going to go to a synagogue or a mosque? And I was like, I really don't want to do anything. I was like, my time feels so precious that I don't want to go out of my way to attend something I don't have to. That's how I felt. That is not saying that I'm not going to go do that ever in the future. And it's also saying, like, how much of the world, at least in my little universe, is catered towards Christianity, because there's churches within like 5 minutes of me. So easy to get to. And I'm still late for church on Sunday mornings. And so my brain was like, how can I even show up and go out of my way when I can barely show up for the church and the faith that I ascribe to? So, but I was honest about that in my discussion post, and I hope that will not be punished. I don't think it will be, but I thought it was important to be honest about my feelings today, because I think it would be cool to visit different temples and mosques and things like that when the time is right, and to continue to immerse myself in different cultural activities that are different than me, that are novel to me, to understand, to participate, or to just observe. But today I had that feeling of like, I don't want to do anything that I'm not required to do. So I thought that was important to be honest about. And I got that discussion post written, thankfully. And now I need to read a few of them and decide a post to respond to, and then probably break, because I have class in person tonight at 5 p.m. and I'm very sleepy. It's another gray day this Tuesday. But I'm also very fortunate to be working on school during the day. So yeah, that was my little check-in. I'm also not dressed in my colors, for my season. Some people say I'm a spring, but it is a cold and rainy day out here, which has been lovely. I've enjoyed it. I am ready for the sun to come back out. I have been editing another vlog. I was motivated to do that because I got my first one up last night, and I was like, let me keep moving forward with this momentum, because life is going to get busy again and I'll forget. I had class in person last night on campus. That was a good class. The chapters we tend to cover. Let me restart this. So I am taking social and cultural issues in counseling. It is a CACREP requirement. CACREP is the accrediting body for counseling degrees. If you want to be a licensed professional counselor, you need to go to a CACREP accredited school to get your master's. So this is one of the classes that is required. I really enjoy my professor. I will say our first half of the class was kind of like figuring out what are social and cultural issues. What issues might you have when you're thinking about that, especially if you're a white lady? Um, can other people be prejudiced and racist? Things like that. And then the second half has been like counseling specific populations. So we had Latinx populations or Latin, as they might say. So correct my pronunciation, but you can give me a comment and say that's not what we say. I am open to criticism as long as it's constructive. What else? We So this week was a lot. It was counseling Arab Americans and then counseling religious minorities and the nuns, so nothing in particular. So we had mainly focusing on Jewish and Muslim clients and then a couple of atheists and no religion in particular. And then they like dotted in a little Hinduism and Buddhism and other religions that are not Christianity and how they are not known and taught about that much. And I think that's true. And then also counseling refugees and immigrants. It was a lot to learn at one time. And I mean, I do appreciate that they say what to consider and what's most salient for the client. Um, but so I am enjoying learning about it. But it does feel like when you have 3 chapters at once about a bunch of different people groups, it feels very generalizing. But I would rather learn and in a general sense than not learn at all and then get to be like, yeah. So I'd rather learn than not learn, even if I have some critiques of the book. But also, what else? But I was just not in a funk, but I cried on the way back home because there is so much work to be done. So part of our social and cultural issues is talking about social justice and advocacy parts of being a counselor and how that has come under fire and like what does that look like for you? What risk are you willing to take in a professional sense to be an advocate? You know, because I think sometimes people are thinking that like all so that is a complicated thing to think about. What am I willing to risk? And I was just feeling yesterday tired of doing anything that I am not required to do. And that is I'm saying that from a place of privilege. I was like, I don't want to go and visit any other temples because I am late to church myself. I am barely doing these Bible studies or prayers that I feel like I should be doing or I want to do them because I feel like they're good for me and my faith, but I like sometimes I can barely roll out of the bed on Sunday morning with a church 5 minutes down the road. How am I going to be expected to continue to immerse myself in different religions? And I know that cultural immersion is not just in a religious way. I can do other cultures, ethnicities, things like that. So also to caveat, the professor is like keep doing cultural immersion, like don't just stop after this class. And so that's what I was kind of thinking about because our discussion post, I have to come back in here and say our discussion post was like, how do you plan to address not knowing about other religions? That's more or less what it said. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. And then I felt guilty. And I also am thinking about the social justice and advocacy of like working in your community. And I just felt resistance. And like not necessarily, oh, that's a bad thing. We shouldn't do that. We absolutely should. We should. I think I felt like just tired. And then I felt guilty about not wanting to do it. And I felt guilty about feeling guilty because I feel like someone who maybe doesn't have as much privilege as me or has it worse than I do would say, like, why are you feeling sorry about yourself? Why are you making it about yourself whether or not you look good or feel good? Like, just go out there and do the work. Stop crying. That is what was going on in my head. So I just had a good cry. So I'm just working it out. Like, I feel better now. Like, I feel less resistant. Like, I, had a nap. I've had a nap and I've eaten. Like, sometimes that's just all you need. And I think I also was able to tell myself, look, you don't have to save the world. You just like love the person in front of you, one person at like a time. And then also, yes, you can get started in your community, but like you can use what you're already good at. Um, so I've also felt this need to volunteer in my community, but not knowing where to get started. Um, and then and then life gets busy. Like homework assignments are due. There's always some kind of passion project to pursue. Nanny child needs to be picked up, stuff like that. So that's what was on my mind last night. And I feel better. And I will also say the doctoral candidate who is an experienced licensed counselor and years my senior, always has great things to say in class, was very kind in her grading of my discussion post where I said, look, I'm not feeling like showing up today. I'm not. But that doesn't mean I won't. She thanked me for my candor, and I appreciated that from her. So just the things on my mind with the counseling and where I am. This class makes me think. I do enjoy this class. I think it is good. I do say I have so many other thoughts, but I will leave it at that for this. I will leave it at that and continue to give you more thoughts as I go along this journey. But that's just where I was yesterday night. And this morning I took my nanny kid to school, and then I have come back. Like I said, I've been working on my vlog, and I paused it so I could film this. And then I need to do a discussion post for my addictions counseling class. So I'm going to listen to the chapter probably while I edit stuff. I make it up and move around, fiddle around in the kitchen. And then I also need to start reading for my psychopathology and diagnosis class that I'll have another paper due Monday. And I think this week is on eating disorders. So there we go. I have managed to post my discussion post. I ended up not doing it till just a couple minutes ago, but that's okay. I had a good afternoon, and now I'm going to try to do a little bit of reading for my psychopathology and diagnosis class. This week is on feeding and eating disorders. I tend to read the beginning, and then I kind of skim through the symptoms listed in the DSM, and then I like to pick my movie. I realized I didn't explain the assignment. So after we read this section, our professor has us pick a movie from about 4 or 5 to watch and then diagnose someone in the movie, typically or not diagnose and give reasoning within the week's chapter of the DSM. And typically it is like the main character. So we've watched movies like 2 weeks ago, I watched Lolita. I've seen Silver Linings Playbook. 28 Days was for substance use disorder.
So I really enjoyed this class, and writing these papers are pretty easy, but it is a lot because it's every week. But that's okay. That makes me better. Oh, I also wanted to say I'm having some delicious, doesn't look very pretty right now, but baked brie with fig jam and puff pastry and apples and crackers. Girl dinner.
Do you want to go for a walk? You want to go to the park? Yeah, let's go. Yes. Yes. Going to the park. Bravo.
Good morning. I am at the dog park with Falafel. There she is. We just hung around and she did her thing, and now we are walking a little bit. It is cold outside. I would like to go back into the warm car, but Falafel seems to be interested in walking around. Here we go. Good afternoon now. As you saw, I took Falafel to the park, and now I am back. I need to feed her in a few minutes, but I thought I'd get started on my discussion post-response for addictions counseling that's due today. That's the only thing that's due today, but I would like to get more stuff done towards schoolwork. I need to watch my movies for psychopathology and diagnosis. That would be good to check off so I can start writing the paper over the weekend. I don't have to work today or tomorrow because my nanny child is out of town, which is really nice. But I do have a screening interview Monday morning that I would like to prepare for as a recovery coach at an eating disorders treatment center. So I'm nervous, but yeah. I'm also just enjoying having slept in and had a slow morning and trying not to like beat myself up or go crazy that I'm not getting started as early in the morning as I would like because I've not been up as early and because I took Falafel out on a little excursion, which means I'm just getting everything started later, which can tend to make me worried. But it's Friday, it's Halloween, so hopefully I will do something fun. I've got candy to hand out for trick-or-treaters, but also do something fun and also be like restfully productive instead of like panicking that I'm not being as 100% fully productive as I could be on a day where I don't have to like break up my day by going to get my nanny kid. Saturday around 5:21 in the evening, and I have had a semi-productive day, but I have not done any homework. I didn't vlog a lot yesterday. It was Friday. I was productive then, but then I had a nice semi-productive evening. I watched the video I needed to watch for psychopathology and diagnosis, and then I ended up rewatching the first Harry Potter for fun because it was Halloween. And then this morning I enjoyed a nice lie-in and slow morning watching some YouTube, eating breakfast, and then I kind of was like, I'm gonna do it all today. I'm gonna like really hit the books, and I'm gonna do other things I need to do. And then I took my shoes to the shoe repair. Finally, I've been putting that off for like weeks now. So I did do some productive things, and then I went shopping at Marshall's and got a couple things, a gift for sister-in-law and then a couple things for myself. Came back, had lunch, and I really wanted to go to Barnes & Noble and get a coffee. And so I invited my sister to do that with me, and so we did, and it was really lovely. And I bought 2 books, even though I said I wasn't going to. Well, I didn't say that going in. I was like, I'm gonna buy books. But before that, I was like, I'm not gonna buy books. But I got this one. It's been on my to-read list. Right Wing Women by Andrea Dworkin. It's probably backwards in the camera, but it is one that's been recommended. I've heard it in a couple of video essays. It's Andrea Dworkin is a feminist writer. I don't think she's still alive. We'll see. And then I got this one. I'm really into Tudor history at the moment, have been for a few years now, and well, for a while, but even more so in the last few years. And I got this called The Waiting Game by Nicola Clark. And it is about the Tudor ladies in waiting. I've heard Nicola Clark on different podcasts, Tudor podcast, history podcast, Betwixt the Sheets is one that I really like. Not just the Tudors, I also enjoy that one. So I thought it would be a good one. I thought maybe she'd be a good writer. I haven't read anything by her, but I have listened to her on podcasts, like I said, and it was really good. So I'm excited to get that. And I mean, like, I might just put a picture up here, but like, look at that cover. So beautiful. I love that. What else? So I was not productive. I haven't done any homework, but I did, check off things that have been on my to-do list, that taking the shoes to get repaired. It's like a weight off my chest. And now I'm going to have dinner with Nick in about 2 hours, hour and a half, and I need to do some homework. So I may just start my paper that I need to write, diagnosing the person in the movie that I watched. So I need to write that paper for psychopathology and diagnosis for the movie I watched last night. And I think I will start with that because it's kind of more concrete beginning and end, because our papers are supposed to be like 2 pages, well, a page and a half of summary of the movie, which is pretty easy to spit out. I end up having to like shorten mine. And then the rest of it is the diagnosis and justification for diagnosis. And so it's like copying, pasting symptoms from the DSM and then putting examples from where they are in the movie. So it's only about 4 pages long, so that's good. And I feel like I can do a beginning and end. I also should be working on, probably should meet up with the team again for my group project members, because we have our papers due at the end of the month and presentations also due near the end of the month. And I also have addictions project due. I might work on my addiction project because I can do that by myself, and my team members probably don't want to work on the project until we have our next class. Well, we don't have class this Tuesday, but until we have our class.